Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and it's Tell a Story Thursday. And this is when I read from one of my previous books and a chapter. And this week again, I'm reading from Journey of a Gentle Southern Man, my first book. And the story that I'm reading is called Legends About My Relatives. So I'm going to tell you some family stories with this one. When I was a little boy growing up in Clinton, South Carolina, one of my favorite pastimes was listening to my parents talk about what it was like when they were growing up. Both my parents came from large families. My mother had 8 brothers and sisters. My daddy had 7. Mother grew up in Gadsden, Alabama, and Daddy in Clinton, South Carolina. In Daddy's family, there was always a problem of finding a place for all the kids to sleep. My grandparents ran a boarding house, so when a boarder needed a room and there wasn't one available, the kids doubled up or tripled up. My 2 aunts, Alma Ruth and Legan, always shared a room. They had been close from childhood, since there were only a few years age difference between them. And they were the only girls in a family full of boys. Daddy said they used to talk from sunup to sundown. In fact, they carried it on over into their sleep. Now, the legend in the Cooper family is that Aunt Alma Ruth and Aunt Legan shared their dreams. I don't mean they shared them in conversation during the daylight hours. They shared them in their sleep and would converse with one another about what was going on. Now, I have never heard about anyone having this happen in their family since that time. And I don't know if it was really true, but my daddy says it was, so I guess it was. He said one time he heard them talking and went into their room. Both were sound asleep with their eyes closed, and they were talking about like they were sitting on the front porch watching people ride by in bikes or in buggies. They talked about who came by and even shared conversation about what they were wearing. Obviously, they were viewing the same scene in their heads. Now, I know that sounds weird, but as Ripley said, believe it or not. The other favorite story of mine is about my daddy and his family and concerns actions in the sleep of one of its members. The member of the family was my father. He had a problem with sleepwalking. He also had a horror of buzzards and gypsies. He feared buzzards because when he would go up to the well in the back of the Cooper property to draw water, a flock of buzzards would always chase him down the hill. The reason he feared gypsies is that one of his older brothers told him that gypsies would kidnap kids and sell them into slavery forever. A band of gypsies had been through the community and they were riding motorcycles. Their new speedy inventions were supposedly the way they would get the kids out of town before anyone could stop them. So during my father's childhood, he developed the fear of buzzards and gypsies. One night he had a terrible dream that both gypsies and buzzards were after him. He said he ran trying to get away from them. The problem was that he was sleep running. A dog jumped up on him and woke him up, miles from the family home and in the heart of downtown Clinton. To top it off, he was dressed only in his underwear. This reality was more a nightmare than this dream. He said he made it back to his home and bed in record time. For months after that, my father slept in his pants, but he never made a midnight run back downtown. He did say he heard my aunts talking about it in their sleep to each other soon after the incident. "Do you see Tom running?" asked Aunt Lillian. "Sure do," said Aunt Alma Ruth. "He has a bunch of good gypsies and buzzards right behind him." "Run, Tom," they chorused. Now, can any story about your family top this one? This has been Jackie K. Cooper sending hope and love.